Mr. Speaker, this is your opportunity for a profile in courage. This is your opportunity to say to your caucus and to the American people, I am not going to allow this country to be shut down over contraceptive pills.
Joining me now is Congresswoman Jackie Speier, Democrat from California. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Congresswoman.
Happy to do it.
Congresswoman, you are one of the profiles in courage on this subject. You took to the House floor in not a planned speech earlier to talk about your own forced late-term abortion you did not want to have. You tried to reason with the other side about a subject that they do not seem to admit any possibility of reasoning about.
That's right, Lawrence. You know, I was really moved by the email you received by the young woman who really is the face of Planned Parenthood. And I would like to submit that to the congressional record because that's the problem. People don't understand the issue. $90 for birth control pills is a lot of money for someone who's unemployed. And yet that's exactly what the Republicans are attempting to do. Shut down Planned Parenthood in providing contraceptive pills, breast exams, STD exams, cervical cancer exams. And it's important to point out, last year, 93,000 women were detected with cervical cancer at Planned Parenthood clinics who are probably alive today because they were able to access that free or low-cost test.
Yeah, 97% of what they do has nothing to do with abortion services. But to not shy away from that issue, abortion services are a very important service that they do provide. And as this woman who told us in her email, as you sharing these facts publicly is very difficult. She didn't want her name revealed, but she had an abortion with the help of Planned Parenthood, which she called devastating. You get the feeling sometimes from the Republican side of the aisle that people go in and have abortions and then go out dancing that night. She talks about it as being a terribly devastating experience.
You know, when I went through that procedure and that abortion, it was more than devastating. I was hollowed out. My husband and I so desperately wanted that baby, and it was, taken from us through, Mother Nature, fate, whatever you want to call it. And I grieved for a long period of time. So it is true that no one, I don't believe anyone, goes in and has an abortion without a great deal of thought, a great deal of pain, and a great deal of sorrow.
And it seems that the other side of the aisle simply doesn't get the import of these anecdotal reports, these true life reports. I learned so much in just reading that one email today that I didn't know when this day began, about what life is like at that end of the economy, the unemployed today, trying to get through this situation, and the incredible expense of something as simple as contraception in this country still. There seems to be no way to get through to Republicans about this. It seems to be nothing but something they want to either raise money on or run campaigns on.
Well, they have a vendetta against Planned Parenthood. That's pretty obvious. I mean, if you were really looking at reducing the deficit, if that's what this was all about, Planned Parenthood, because for every dollar spent, you're saving almost $4. I mean, there's a savings of about $3 billion. So for them to suggest that this saves money is just wrong. And in fact, by cutting Planned Parenthood, they are increasing the debt or the deficit.
What is your sense of how close we may be to a deal at this point?
Well, the emails are flying fast and furious right now. There appears to be some movement. There appears that we may, in fact, have a CR to continue for 1 week without any riders on it. It may not come to the floor at midnight. It may be actually after the deadline. But for all intents and purposes, it will prevent a government shutdown. And that's precisely what we should be doing. I mean, this is a body that is about compromise. And I'm afraid that the new Republicans in the House don't believe in compromise. They see it as a dirty word. But compromise is part and parcel of this process and must be what we do on both sides of the aisle.
Congresswoman Jackie Speier, thank you very much for joining us, sharing your story with us, and that latest update as to the status of the deal. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.